Hello and welcome back to this week Out of Cast, your program completely in English. This is Twinkle Nora and... Who's there?
Hello, I'm back. I'm
She's
Helga the
alive!
Bluehead. Yeah. I'm back from a very, very long vacation from my country, as it was New Year. So, yeah, it was there for about a month. And now I'm back. So,
Welcome
yeah.
back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really miss being here.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, thank you. So let's jump right into it. Today we're gonna talk about a strange, bizarre director. Now, whose imagination is how?
Literally inventive.
Yeah. And many think that he directed Nightmare Before Christmas while he was the producer of it. And the music for his movies are almost always done by Danny Elfman. Doesn't ring a bell?
I think so.
Now let's get right into it. Today we will talk about Tim Burton.
Che è successo?
No.
Ma che chill.
And we're back.
Well, back once more.
Yeah, I'm Helga the Bluehead again.
And
As
this
you
is-
all, I hope you remember me.
I remember you. I know who you are.
Thank you. So we're here to talk about Tim Burton, and Eleanor's got some interesting stuff to tell.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I can say that he was born in 1958 and was interested in painting, drawing and watching movies since he was a kid. And he also used to make short films in his backyard on Evergreen Street with a strange use of a crude stop-motion animation techniques, or shoot them on an 8 milligrams film without any sound, as one of his oldest known juvenile films is Island of the Dr. of the Dr. Agor,
Yeah.
which he made when he was only 13 years
Do
old.
you remember what did you do when you were 13? I mean, he is a genius. When you make something when you're 13 years old and it's on Wikipedia, it has its own page.
It's actually to be impressive.
So, yeah.
When I was 13 years old, I merely did weird stuff with discount Legos, I think.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. Go on.
Oh, well, after graduating from Burbank High School, Burton attended the California Institute of the Arts in Valencia to study character animation, and as a student of color arts, Burton made the short Stag of a Celery Monster and Night and Octopus. Stag of a Celery Monster attracted the attention of the Walt Disney Productions Animation Division, which offered Burton an animator's apprenticeship at the studio.
Yeah, they liked it so much. He worked there as an animator, storyboard artist, graphic designer, art director, and concept artist on films. Many popular movies such as Fox and the Hound, made in 1981, Tron, 1982, and The Black Cauldron, made in 1985, although his concept art never made it into the finished films. Now, while at Disney in 1982, Burton made his first short, Vincent, a 6-minute black and white stop-motion film based on a poem written by the filmmaker and depicting a young boy who fantasizes that he is his hero, Vincent Price, with Price himself providing the narration. Now, we highly recommend this short stop-motion horror film. It'll definitely gives you chills. It's so spectacular and beautiful. Also, let's point out here that he made his directorial debut, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, in 1985.
Relax, shake and relax, relax, shake. Oh, the boy.
Now you should end here, okay? And we're back, and we almost forgot to tell you that you can have contact with us on our socials, which are
which are on our Facebook page as Roma Tre Radio, on our Twitter account as Roma Tre Radio, and even on Instagram on Roma Tre as a number radio, where we post our delightful selfies.
Yeah.
And well, you can listen to us on our streaming website as radio.uniromatree.it and on the app tune in as Roma Tre Radio.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting app.
It
so
is.
we can check out. Yeah. Let's get right into it. Come on.
All right. So now we're going to talk about a favorite movie of mine,
really?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely, I love it.
Coming out in
1988.
Yeah.
It talks about a newly deceased couple played by Rob McClure and Carrie Butler trying their best to drive away the unknown new owners, played by Leslie Kritzer, Adam Dashnes hair. I think that's how I should.
Dan I think
Perfectly.
so.
And the golf lover daughter, which is played by a young Winona Ryder of the cozy fixer-upper. Whomever the ghost couple is way too much gentle nature to get rid of them in the old style, so the last chance is to call an ancient spirit Beetlejuice. Yep, just like the title. In Beetlejuice, Burton imagines afterlife as a bizarre, macabre bureaucracy wherein the Swiss souls are forced to work in a poorly paid job, just like in real life, guys. Or the fact that you have to get a license to hunt an abandoned house, just name a few examples. And well, Burton's creepy visual humor almost literally shines here. Quoting the Washington Post in 1988, the joy of Beetlejuice is in complete bizarre but perfectly realized view of a world, comparing it to Gary Larson's The Far Side or even the cult classic, The Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy.
Now, would you expect from a movie like this to get its own animation cartoon series? No?
For children?
Well, okay, whatever. But no, too bad, because it has. It actually happened between 1989 and 1991, and Tim Burton was personally involved in the project as a character designer and executive producer as well. Now, and just like the Toxic Avenger,
it's a great example because you know the Toxic Avenger, what it's about?
No.
Okay, it's about a guy whose head gets smashed.
Oh.
And he gets toxic, a mutant, and he becomes a superhero, completely disfigurement, and he got a children's TV series and a musical. A Broadway musical.
Dear God. Okay. Now, it even had its Broadway musical adaptation. Starting off with a humble 15 million budget, the original movie got repaid almost 6 times more thanks to successful box office of 73 million. However, Rotten Tomatoes score is not that. It is good. It is pretty good on 84%. Now, it can be called as a critical success. Okay, now Tim Burton just showed us how big a comic book based movie could be with his 1989 blockbuster Batman. Now Eleanor is gonna have some more interesting stuff to come.
I hope my microphone just worked because I can't listen to anything. I don't. Okay, so the point of seeing Burton's Batman movies is you will never prefer over directors that did Batman over them. Only if you're one of those more realistic tone movie fans, you'd probably prefer Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, I think. But Tim Burton's Batman films are remarkable for a few reasons. They're not just entertainment movies, they're movies that probably shouldn't even exist.
Yeah, okay, now, because at that time, at that era, it was really uncommon making Batman movies, making comic-based movies. So yeah, it was pretty uncommon. It nearly couldn't happen, but it happened. And yeah, Now, Batman coming out in 1981 and then Batman Returns coming out in 1992 were huge. They weren't just movies but blockbuster events. Fans stood in line for often wearing costumes. They caused national uproar. The first was such hit that cinema owners were mad when the VHS was being released within 6 months of its theatrical run because houses were still selling out. Now, starring Michael Keaton as Batman, co-starring Kim Basinger and Jack Nicholson as Joker in Burton's first Batman movie. The movie got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 71%, which is okay, pretty okay, and sold more than 411 million at the box office. Now, in Batman Returns, Michael Keaton returns as Batman, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, and Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 80% at box office, gained more than $266 million. It also worth noting Batman was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Art Direction and won the prize. Also, Batman Returns was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, Best Visual Effects and Best Makeup. Alright, now we're gonna talk about a movie that I'm wearing its sweatshirt. and it's beautiful and it's everyone's favorite, I gotta say, and it's bizarre, but it has got many let's say many depth to it, this movie. We're gonna talk about Edward Scissorhands, coming out in 1990.
Well, it's American romantic dark fantasy movie, I can describe it as it. Produced by, of course, Tim Burton, but also Denise Dinovi, and written by Caroline Thompson. It is a story of an uncommonly gentleman, Edward, performed by Johnny Depp, of course. Like, Tim Burton has only 3 actors, and one of these is Johnny Depp. And, well, Edward has all the essential ingredients for today's standard
Body,
with the exception of a pair of hands.
Yeah.
Because his creator, which was played by Vincent Price, didn't allow Edward to be completed because to its premature death.
Can we appreciate how Tim Burton loves Vincent Price?
He adores. He probably has a temple of it in his house. Oh dear, Vincent Price, please help me.
Well, he's really legendary. I mean, I don't blame Tim Burton for his choice.
Of course, he has such a neurotic voice.
I know, right? Yeah, please go on.
Rest in pieces.
Yeah.
And what I was saying, and so Edward has scissors, blades instead of hands, and he's left alone until the meeting with Beck Boggs, played by Diane West, an evil Avon lady who decided to take him to her house in a 60s pastel-colored village. And Edward demonstrated to be a gentle soul and in fancy love with Beck's daughter, Kim, played by Winona Ryder once more.
Yeah.
It's the second actor that Burton uses. Everything seems to go pretty well until Edward is involved in some unfortunate events that really he has no control over them and try to push it to return to his original life. The movie... Can I say this final spoiler? It is allowed since it has been 20 years.
It's totally okay, yeah, after 20 years. Come on.
So the movie ends with Edward's sculpting eyes, and the snow that falls on the village represent the change he brought to a people's life, and especially Kim.
Actually, I was thinking, after 39 years, we're in 2019.
I feel it.
Oh my god!
I'm almost 20 years old!
Oh dear, we're getting ahead of ourselves, sorry. Yeah, please go on.
And well, it shows how he blossomed, and when the chaos of his visit came and left, he still left his mark behind on the village after all.
Now, the movie also showcases how people treat a newcomer or someone with a different personality, like an outcast.
Out of caste.
also foreshadowing today's situation in some countries that can't accept immigrants, or overall some people that are a bit different. Now, here for you some curiosity, if you've been imagining. The movie was filmed near Tampa, Florida, and did you know that the original adaptation, Johnny Depp, only says 169 words? Awesome, isn't it? Now, something that you probably don't know, Michael Jackson expressed the desire to perform Edward. Can you believe that? Now, its Rotten Tomatoes is 90% and gained more than 86 million at the worldwide box office. The movie was nominated at the Academy Award for Best Makeup. It was also nominated for 4 BAFTAs. Both Burton and Elfman, composer, consider Edward Scissorhands their most personal and favorite work. If you haven't watched it, we highly recommend this movie to you. Like, seriously, go watch it. And we are going to talk about Ed Wood coming out in 1994.
So, well, before The Disaster Artist, there was another terrible director who saw himself as the greatest of them all. You're tearing me apart, Lisa! I did not hit her.
Oh, hey, Lisa.
So, we're going to talk about Edward D. Wood Jr., known as Ed Wood. Tim Burton's movie shows a bizarre portrait of Ed, played by Johnny Depp.
Again,
It's
kind of getting pretty obvious, the choices, you know?
Every main protagonist, if is male, is played by Johnny Depp. There's no excuse for that. So, it shows Ed trying to claim his place into the world while being unable to see his hilarious blunders, ineptitude, and acting so bad that it becomes memorable for ages to come. It's a story of a man who is not a real outsider, just like over Tim Burton's works, but he is someone who is able to attract strange, desperate cases to himself, just like his friendship with Bela Lugosi, played by Martin Landau, long past his prime career and into severe drug addiction. Also Barney Breckenridge, played by Bill Murray, Criswell, played by Jeffrey Jones, Tor Johnson by George Steele, and the Midnight Hostess Vampira, played by Lisa Murray. I think everyone knows who I'm talking about when I say Vampira, isn't it?
Vampira. Yeah.
She even appeared in The Simpsons.
Oh.
Is like the vampire women with the
I
cleverage, well exposed.
I really don't follow Simpsons much. I've seen some episodes. I've watched some episodes, but I'm not saying that I'm not a fan. It's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on.
Anyway, when Burton announced that he wanted to make a movie called Edward, people assumed that it would have been a cross between the Rocky Picture Show and Sunset Boulevard. Do you know why?
Now, the real Edward, because the real Edward was a well-known transvestite, and of course, people were wrong. The movie is actually a sincere celebration of Edward Wood, while exploring the spirit of 1950s exploitation films, a long-forgotten time where drive-in were the only chance for people like Edward to get enough bookings thanks to cut-price Philippines in small towns. Starting off with a humble 18 million budget, Ed Wood by Tim Burton turned out to be a colossal disaster, unfortunately. Since it only got back $5 million at the box office, could it have been Ed Wood's curse to sink the entire ship?
I think so.
Now, the world may never know, but all of this couldn't stop the audience and critics to rate the movie with a very high 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Also, it was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, winning both Best Supporting Actor for Lando and Best Makeup for Rick Baker. Jumping right into 1996 with Mars Attacks. Now, it's a 1996 American science fiction comedy directed by Tim Burton, obviously. Who are we talking about? Now, he also co-produced his own movie with Larry J. Franco, and the screenplay was written by Jonathan Gems?
Like the Christian Gems?
Gems, yeah, definitely. This movie has an extraordinary cast. Actors like Jack Nicholson, who is playing the President of the United States.
Danny DeVito, it's your boy.
Jack Black, and actresses like Glenn Close as President's wife, Natalie Portman as President's daughter, and Sarah Jessica Parker. Now, filming took place from February to November 1996. The film was shot in California, Nevada, Kansas, Arizona, and Argentina. What? Seriously? Okay.
It's a cheap country.
I mean, okay, because it's bizarre. The other cities were in US and then Argentina all of a sudden.
Maybe there was some kind of...
Now, it's a normal day for everyone until the President of the United States announces that Martians have been spotted circling the Earth. The Martians land and a meeting is arranged, but not everything goes according to plan, and the Martians seem to have other plans for Earth. Now, are they just misunderstood beings, or do they really want to destroy humanity?
Well, if you didn't pay close attention to the opening credits, you may miss a really important fact. Mars attacks.
Oh dear. If you haven't
Spoiler
noticed.
alert.
Spoiler alert!
Mars
If you haven't
attacks.
just noticed the name of the movie.
So the movie's got some very bizarre source material. The Topps company releases a series of trading cards in the early 60s, or which the movie is based. Another curiosity for you is that, for you, dear Burton's lovers, the set of Mars attacks must have been a little bit of a love fest. The three most prominent individuals on the production had a special person in their life right there with them.
Ooh.
Burton cast his then girlfriend, model Lisa Marie, in the role
la la.
of Martian girl. And playing the very small role of a prostitute was Rebecca Broussard, an actress better known to the public as the girlfriend of Jack Nicholson. Its Rotten Tomatoes rate is pretty much meh. It doesn't even a word, it's meh.
No, it's bad because below 60% is rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Well, it's not 20 at least. It could have been 1%.
yeah, I mean 20 is just too rotten. Yeah, go on.
Like 20 must have been the room, probably. So, unfortunately for Burton, the Rotten Tomatoes rate is only 33%, and it gained more than $100 million worldwide at the box office.
Which is pretty okay.
So,
Yeah. Alright, let's jump right into 1999 with my personal favorite, Sleepy Hollow.
I'm so honored to talk about it then. So the film is an adaptation loosely based on the Washington Irving's 1820 short story The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and it stars Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci as main roles. The plot is pretty interesting. At first, it seems simple, but in time you realize it's actually quite complicated. The story... Okay, try to bear with me. The plot follows Police Constable Ichabod Crane...
Oh, well, let me just a bit of a correction here.
Okay, thank you.
His name is Constable Ichabod Crane.
Constable Ichabod Crane. Okay,
Yeah.
I won't remember it. I know it already. So, who is sent from New York City to investigate a series of murders in the village of Sleepy Hollow by a mysterious headless horseman.
Ooh.
During the movie, we follow that guy investigations and realizes why the headless horseman decapitates all its victims and takes their heads with them, and how he chooses his victims. Now, in our opinion, this might be one of the finest works of Tim Burton and one of the best collaborations he's ever done with Johnny Depp. Although he had Depp as his first choice for the main role, I will guess.
Let me think. Okay.
He probably has a list of, okay, I have a favorite now, like Johnny Depp, no one else, thank you. So, but Paramount required him to consider Brad Pitt, Liam Neeson, and Diana Day-Lewis.
Can you imagine Liam Neeson as Ichabod Crane? I mean, the role that Johnny Depp. I bet he will be. I will find you and I will kill you. To the whole headless horseman. Okay, so the atmosphere of the movie feels so surreal, gory and goth, but it doesn't mean it's too unrealistic. The movie is set in the late 18th century, and just like our protagonist says, by the beginning of the movie, the 19th century is about to begin, and he's more interested in the use of science, and he has to prove his ways and its results to the court. The movie floats in between fantasy, horror, and history. Now, the beautiful production and costume design also heavily lifts the movie. And it all pays off since the movie was nominated for 3 Academy Awards: Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, and Best Costume Design, ending up winning Best Art Direction. It's also worth noting that the VFX for that era, I mean, it's made in 1999. The VFX is really believable and quite remarkable, I gotta say. Now, in the end of the at the end, the movie did pretty well at the box office, gaining $207 million, and okay on Rotten Tomatoes, which is 68%. I mean, in my opinion, it's unfortunate because it definitely deserves more, and I guess it shows in the audience score, which is 80%.
Aspetta. Drink water.
For your health.
Be dehydrated.
Oh.
La mia schiena.
Now we are unfortunately at the end. We're moving on to 2001 with our last movie for today, which is Planet of the Apes.
Alright, so Planet of the Apes is a mixed bag, and well, sorry to put it on this way, but one of the worst movies made by Tim Burton.
Really, it's so bad.
So let's rush this thing out and see why we have here, well, what we have here, and why do we have this thing here. This is the 6th film produced in the Planet of the Apes franchise and was loosely adapted from Pierre Boulez's 1963 novel of the same name and 1968 film version. It tells the story of astronaut Leo Davidson crash landing on a planet inhabited by intelligent apes. The apes treat humans as slaves, but with the help of an ape named Harry, Leo starts a rebellion. And now this is where things get a bit messy. The movie tries its best to play smart, but it's not smart.
It's really not. The screenplay is full of plot holes, and there are stuff that doesn't make sense, like zero sense. And yes, we get it, it's a sci-fi. But come on, guys, we're not stupid. The audience is not dumb.
Just like when people read fantasy novels, say, oh, well, it's magic. Why do we have plots and explanation why we have magic?
But even in the magic, sci-fi, fantasy world, whatever, the script has to make sense, even if it's fantasy. It's not real world, it's not our world that we are right now living, but this is just so bad. Okay,
so it's not an excuse.
No. Now the movie's trying too hard to get tricky, but it doesn't just work out. The only thing that does really work is a quite interesting idea that what if we humans were slaves like we enslave animals. You see, that's quite dark. Now in this movie, the stuff that we do to monkeys is reversed, and they do the same thing to us. Now quite remarkable, but imagine that. It's quite dark and a bit of disturbing, but it's what we as humans really do. Now this concept could be amazing, but it really doesn't pay off in this movie. Like they has this awesome concept, they lose and let go. And then there's playing with the concept of time, which messes the whole movie up.
So yeah, this movie is really not that good.
Yeah, so yeah, this movie is really terrible. Sorry. The movie has got a score of 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, but sold more than 362 at the box office. I mean, how the hell that happened?
Well, that's more than The Room, because before we checked out, and The Room by Tommy Wiseau on Rotten Tomatoes scored 26%.
Yeah,
and that's important.
We have bad Rotten Tomatoes score overall in the movie history. It's so, but I mean, a movie like this by Tim Burton, I mean, we love him so much, but how did this movie happen? How did it happen?
The world may never know.
But we're finished here for today. Of course, we know that Tim Burton has directed so many other movies. That's why we have.
That's only the first part of the Tim Burton's podcast.
Exactly. And next week we will also talk about his other movies. Because
just like another favorite of mine, The Corpse Bride. I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh, my favorite one that I really want to talk about is Sweeney Todd. Next week. I just love it so much.
Nice.
So yeah, before we say goodbye to you, let's once again tell you that you can find us on our social media.
Just like in our Facebook page, Roma Tre Radio, on our Twitter account as Roma Tre Radio, on Instagram as Roma Tre as a number radio, and of course you can listen to us on our streaming website, radio.uniromatree.it, and on the app TuneIn as Roma Tre Radio, but remember 3 as a number, of course.
So, thank you all for tuning in. This is Helia the Bluehead with
Twinkle Nora.
Goodbye. Ha 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 ha.